That's it. Hello, welcome to another Happy Pod. My name is Nathan. As always, I'm joined by my co-host. He's a dickhead. His name is Lawrence, and he's going to tell us what the show is all about.
Hello, Nathan. This is the show where we get together to discuss something in the realm of pop culture every week. It could be a movie, it could be a TV show, it could be 14 weeks of X-Men. But the main thing is that we do so without any of the toxic discourse that is oh so prevalent these days. How are you?
God, I really fucking hope it's 14 weeks of X-Men. That'd be so cool. Imagine just 14 fucking weeks of watching X-Men movies.
Well, I have good news.
Yes!
For maybe only you and me.
I mean, some people will be excited, maybe.
And I think most will go.
We'll see. We're trying something new. Let's see if it pays off.
This is genuinely, we're in such a crazy situation, right? Because this is entirely self-inflicted. And this could genuinely be the end of the podcast.
It won't be the end. I think we'd still be doing this if we had one listener, really.
Yeah, probably.
This is the fun experimental one. We can do whatever the fuck we want here. We've got the mainstay, okay? We've got the golden child. We've got the moneymaker, all right? This is the fucking, let's fuck around and do what we want.
And I like that the mainstay, the golden chalice of our podcast, is just still like a semi-popular podcast in an extremely specific niche.
It's good. It's doing well.
I mean, it has some numbers, so that's nice.
It's a good fun time.
Line go up. Nathan, what are we calling this?
X-Mania.
We had some feedback.
Did we?
Yeah, people weren't a fan. They said it was funnier when we tried to shove X-Men into just a name of a month crudely that doesn't work. But this is going to be 3 months.
This will be over August, September, and October. So
fucking hell. November feels so far away, and we'll still be meeting to talk about X-Men.
No, we won't. We'll be done by November.
Oh, will we? Okay.
Yeah, we'll be done before Halloween because we have. Oh, wait, hold on. Maybe we won't actually. I think we had to actually push back our Halloween episode 1 week to make this fit, actually. Let me just check the schedule real quick.
We didn't just cull a random X-Men movie.
See, yes. So our last one, which we'll go over in just a second and we'll explain how this will all work. But our last one will come out on the 25th of October, and then our Halloween episode will come out on the 1st of November. So...
So you can tell we prioritized.
Yeah. So.
Well, this is timely because this past week has seen the release of Deadpool and Wolverine. So in true another Happy Pod fashion, we've timed it to be 3 months late to talk about a movie.
Well, that's what we're doing. We are doing this because of Deadpool and Wolverine, and we will be discussing Deadpool and Wolverine in 3 months.
Oh, we might actually line it up with like a digital release. That could be very profitable.
I fucking hope so, because that's the only way I'll fucking be able to watch it, all right? Because I have made the bold proclamation that I am not going to see it until we get to that point. Will I get spoiled? Well, I have already. So, to be fair, it's a bit of a I don't know the context of it in the movie, but it's a bit of a minor spoiler, I would say. So.
The thing you definitely know that I know?
The thing that, yes.
Yeah, I think it's somewhat minor, yeah.
Yeah, it seems minor. It doesn't seem like a huge thing. It just seems like there's that person.
There's someone.
There's that thing or person or event.
I can't believe this development has happened in the movie.
Whoa, what an unexpected turn of events. And then just put whatever in.
Yeah. So we're experimenting. We're taking it all the way back.
Are you going to see it? Because you haven't yet seen it, but then you know everything because of your job.
I know everything, but that was because of work circumstances. But I do want to see it.
Yeah.
But I like it's watching this week and kind of realizing that in 3 months I'll have to watch it again. Like I am in two minds. I'm split.
I think you should go see it.
So I can give the theatrical opinion.
Yeah, exactly. You like the cinema.
I do like the cinema.
And you can go during the day, although it is summer holidays.
Yeah, oh God. Oh no, it's that 6 weeks of a year that I hate.
Yeah, same. But it is a 15 though. I'm like at work and there's kids outside screaming like, no, shouldn't you be at school?
Oh, I thought you were saying it as in like, I'm going to have trouble getting into a 15.
No.
You will need to come inside this with your mum so she can take you.
Yes, exactly. No, you want to be able to. It's illegal.
Oh, really?
Yeah, no. It's you can't. In the UK, the law is that if you're under that age, you cannot see the movie. Yeah.
Oh, that's bullshit.
It's not like if you're with a parent, you can. It's just no, you cannot see it.
Oh,
I think that's good.
Do you?
Yeah, I don't want fucking kids in the movie. Get out of here.
Yeah, but that's not a common issue for me because of work freedom and stuff. So.
And I'm pro censorship, so.
Okay, fair enough. Nathan, we've taken it all the way back to the year 2000, if you can believe
bloody hell, don't we bloody know it? You see those shots of the Twin Towers?
Yeah, I did.
always just hits you wrong, doesn't it? Whenever you see that in a movie.
It's like a little jab to the side. You go,
oh, ooh.
Yeah. And not like, look, tragedy aside, it's also just a reminder of like, fucking old this.
Yeah, yeah.
And I remember watching this way back when, and now I feel fucking old.
24 years ago.
Jesus. So I was 3 when this came out.
I was 7.
You old bastard.
I remember seeing it.
Oh, you saw it in the cinema?
I don't know, but I remember seeing it. I remember watching it.
I didn't, and that's probably I was still probably shitting myself. Do 3-year-olds shit themselves still?
I definitely did. So, yeah. Today.
Fair enough. I don't know what I was expecting. I haven't seen this in fucking years.
Me neither, man. I haven't watched this in time. What do you think of it?
It was refreshing, I thought.
Okay.
It was nice in its simplicity. I enjoyed seeing where it all began, and like not just Deadpool and Wolverine, but like recently I've been working on a bunch of X-Men stuff, so I've seen a hell of a lot of like newer, more modern stuff.
Yes.
And then it's almost like you can track filmmaking practices over this 3 months journey that we're going to go on.
Oh, it's going to be such a fun 3 months in terms of things we can track.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
God, yeah. Loads of shit. But no, overall, I think it's nice. I think it's obviously quite quaint in terms of what we're used to seeing more recently, but it's also got this weird kind of mix between it's quite bold and daring in that it's very new. It's a new idea to kind of bring to movies, but then it's also extremely limited because the executives were extremely limited. Nice. But the executives were very clearly clenching their asshole the entire time, going, we cannot make this too absurd. Let's dial back on some things. But yeah, overall, I liked it. It's not perfect. There's not much to like or dislike, if I'm honest. What do you think?
I think it fucking sucks.
Okay, all right.
I think it's boring. Okay, I think it's so boring. All right?
Really? Okay.
When I finished this movie, which was like half an hour ago, I was like, how the fuck did comic book movies ever become as popular as they are? Because that
1,000 million nerds.
And this is kind of like what kicked off modern comic book movies, really. This was like essentially the first Marvel comic book movie, really. I mean, you had
Raimi Spider-Man 2002, right?
Yeah, Raimi Spider-Man 2002. You had Blade, but that wasn't like really like it wasn't like advertised as a Marvel movie or anything like that.
Yeah.
And it was fucking barely anything related to the actual character of Blade as well. So like it's wild. But like this is really what kicked off like the comic book movie boom, really. And I'm like, how? Because it fucking sucks, man. It's boring.
Wait, do you think it actually like sucks, or is it just like a bit dated and a bit old?
It's dated and old, but like I was watching it and I was like, when is anything exciting going to happen? Ever.
Exciting,
yeah.
Very
and
nice.
it like didn't they hint at stuff exciting happening, but then it's just boring. They get to a fight and it's 4 X-Men and they're fighting 2 people and they struggle so much. And it's just a little guy. It's fucking Darth Maul, okay, jumping about, painted green, and just fucking just Hugh Jackman again.
Yeah. Yeah, Hugh Jackman twice as a
Hugh Jackman twice.
I do see what you mean, because there are weird moments where like they haven't figured it out yet.
Yeah.
Like they haven't realized that like Cyclops should not struggle with a Toad Man.
Yeah.
That's like jovially dancing around as well. Like
watching fucking X-Men 97, okay, earlier this year, and watching this, they are worlds apart in terms of like both in terms of character and in terms of fun and action and everything. It is insane to think that a fucking animated, like a fucking X-Men cartoon is more fun and exciting than a X-Men movie, really.
Yeah, it's. I think it's just hindered by the fact that it's the first and it's trying to push the boat out. And I know what you mean about it being and feeling limited and kind of more restrained and stuff. But like there is, I still think it's like going for a lot. Like Hugh Jackman's
What is it going for?
Well, like weird little powers on screen, and they play around with little voice effects when Charles is talking through people's minds and stuff. Like
yeah, that's just a fucking audio thing. Who cares?
No, yeah, but what I'm saying is it's kind of like a bit fresh for films at the time.
Have they never had whispers in movies before?
No.
Before the year 2000? We're like, what if we tried whispering?
No,
into
I mean like the display of powers on show, and like how most fights are not really fist fights. They're more just like little blasts and weird little tongue maneuvers and stuff. Like,
well,
it's weird.
It's boring is what it is.
I do like that they and I think this is a good and a bad. They immediately understand and get something right about the X-Men, because they had to get something right about the X-Men.
They didn't get much right.
Yeah, no, they didn't.
No.
But I do think they understand the politics of it. They have a good grasp of like immediately they set the stage as like these Republicans essentially being like, these people could be teaching our kids and all of this and blah, blah, blah. And, you know, they could take our homes. They could even walk into the White House and kill the president or something. And it's like, if you look at today, they're still sprouting this nonsense about just various others and individuals.
That is one of the things they got right. Yes.
Yeah.
The very few things they got right. Yeah.
One of the very few.
Because there's really not much. But
no. But I like that component of it. It's the whole plot, really, I mean, which maybe is stretched in. But
yeah, if you're not getting that right, then what are you doing, though? You know?
Yeah, it is the easiest thing.
That's the bare minimum, you know? That's like, you got to nail that, because if you don't, what are we even doing? All right?
Which is weird, right? Because I feel like the X-Men in movies have become more comic booky as the movies have gone on, but less politically geared as they've gone on. Like... And this is what I mean about this kind of feeling braver and a bit more bolder, because they weren't afraid to kind of swing pot shots at Republicans and fucking political ideologies. Whereas in the new movies, they're like, distract them with a laser blast and they won't notice that this isn't really the X-Men anymore. It's
been too long since I've seen them, so...
That's fair. We can, again, one of the many things we'll track. How political do they maintain?
I'll tell you what I did enjoy. I forgot how great the opening of this movie is.
Yeah.
So the scene at Auschwitz with a young Eric and his mother in the being separated at the camp, and then we get that display of his powers as he rips down the gate before he's like knocked out, and then he's taken off to Kevin Bacon. But we
haven't seen Kevin Bacon yet. That's something that surprised me, because I always thought that was the intro to First Class, and it is. It's both.
It is. Yeah, they recreated it for First Class. Yeah.
Yeah, which I like it. I think it informs the character of Magneto, right? Say what you want, but the casting in this is, for the most part, pretty fucking dead on, as you can tell by how popular they still are, a lot of these characters.
Yes, it is. It's good casting. It is good casting. I feel like there are like nitpicks to be made and stuff with it, but for this version of the X-Men, I feel like it's good casting.
The common complaint in all of these movies is good casting playing bad characterizations of their characters.
Yeah, for the most part, because they're all pretty much characters in name only, really. And sort of like the broad strokes of the look, really. Like
yeah,
I mean, and very broad strokes, okay, but like.
Yeah. And we're talking physical attributes, not costumes. They are all gone.
Not costumes. They fucking kiss those goodbye, okay?
No, but like James Marsden looks like a Scott Summers.
Yes, sure. Yeah. And Hugh Jackman doesn't really look like Wolverine.
He has the stubble growing abilities of a Wolverine.
Sure.
Is what they wanted. Yeah.
A young Hubert Jackman. First of all, when I first saw him, I was like, insane that this guy, 24 years later, is still playing the same character. Fucking wild, isn't it? Quite cool, though. Yeah. Quite cool. Iconic, really, in a sense.
I mean, look, it's a legacy. Whether you would agree it's a good or bad one, it's a legacy.
Good one. It's a good one.
I
Say
think...
what you will about the character of this version of Wolverine versus the comic. Sure, he's tall. Sure, he's not necessarily the same fucking version. But it's entertaining. Hugh Jackman has done a great job
Yeah.
over the years. You know, you can't deny that.
That is very true. I think even in the worst movies, he's a fun attribute.
Exactly. Yeah.
Included in them, yeah. And I actually, saying that was something I kind of realized in this. He's kind of, and maybe they chose Wolverine to kind of lead this version of the X-Men. Because I don't know much about the comics, but I know that Wolverine has never been this big of a deal in terms of a leadership role in the X-Men, or like the primary.
No,
protagonist position.
Wolverine's always just like the muscle, essentially.
Yeah,
he's just like,
yeah.
hey, Bubba, you know, he's just the.
He's there to call Cyclops a dick from time to time.
Yeah,
Like,
he's just an angry,
yeah.
short little guy. You know, he's just always complaining. He'll be the muscle, and then he'll just perv on Jean from a window or whatever.
Yeah, that does seem to be a lot of it, doesn't it?
This movie was so weird about the whole Logan and Jean stuff as well. I was like, call the police, Jean. What are you doing? Okay.
I have some beef about what that means for the characterization of Jean as well.
Yeah, me too. Yeah.
Well, we'll get there in a sec, but I think it's a net positive of this movie that they went with this kind of version of Wolverine, because he's, you know, for better or worse, he's the audience surrogate. Like, we're let into the X-Men because he goes to the X-Mansion.
Yes. Yes.
And with that, you get the benefit of the filmmakers being able to be alongside the audience, going like, Wolverine thinks this is stupid. Don't you guys think this is a bit stupid? Who's this? What do they call you? Wheels? Kind of all that stuff.
One of the best lines of the movie, that is. So,
it's rude, but yeah.
It is rude. It's a bit ableist, but
yeah.
Still funny though. I think yes, Wolverine is different, and they have like given him more of the leadership role in these movies and stuff. But I will say, I think overall, the movies have made Wolverine as a character a lot more interesting than the comics ever really did. Really.
Okay, do tell, because I'm not familiar with the comics.
And I feel like the comics saw how popular Wolverine got and then became more interesting. Like Old Man Logan only came after the movies, really, because they saw that this interesting stuff could be done with the character, I think. And that's not to say like there weren't interesting stories with Wolverine before, because of course there were. But I feel like as a result of his popularity and stuff, they were willing to put him in more comic books and tell more stories with him and stuff.
Well, those two industries have always worked in tandem, right? Because they benefit each other.
Yeah,
like,
whenever a movie comes out, the comics will always be like, Spider-Man, his webs, they're organic now, don't worry about it, you know?
Yeah.
It's like, sure, okay.
And then the creators will rush to the cinema to excitedly see the versions of their characters on screen and then go, oh, we weren't credited at all and we got no money.
Okay, I'll get the bus home, shall I?
Yeah, brilliant news for us. Thanks for inviting us to the premiere. Oh, you didn't. That's
you
fine
didn't?
too.
Okay, cool.
Enjoy your reported 80 billion that Robert Downey Jr. is getting paid.
80 billion is insane. 80 million. Okay.
80 million. Sorry, yeah, that's what I
80
meant.
billion is more than the entire company. Okay, that's fucking ridiculous.
They'd bet it at this point. I'd argue they'd bet it.
I don't think they would. That's ridiculous.
Well, I'm just saying, it's extraordinary. Anyway, that's a whole different conversation. The amount of money that's pumped into these things is absurd.
Yes, it is.
What do I like about this? I tell you what do you like about it?
The opening. I like fuck, what's his name? Oh my god, my brain.
Patrick Stewart.
Ian McKellen. Other one. Yes, Ian McKellen. I like Ian McKellen. Oh, I do like Patrick Stewart as well, but Ian McKellen. I think he's great. I think he's hot. I think he's hot in this movie, man.
Do you think so?
Yeah, it was like when he first showed up, I was like, ooh.
He's got that clean drip on, isn't he?
Does,
he's got that kind of like surgical black robe.
We are the future, Charles. Not them.
Right. I don't know what it was, right? Because most of the script is like pretty on the nose, cliche comic book one-liners, right?
Yeah.
Storm has the age-old like, do you know what happens to a toad when it gets electrocuted? Same thing.
One of the worst lines there's ever been.
And they try and play it so cool.
Do you know what happens to a toad when it gets struck by lightning? The same thing as everything else. Okay.
Yeah, right.
Great. Good one. Fucking hell, you got him. You got Darth Maul. Well done. Fucking hell.
But it is a funny kind of disparity, because those awful lines are happening, but then you've got every now and again you get a quick scene between Charles and Eric, and they're just spitting god tier dialogue to each other on like the ethics and the conundrums of their ideologies and the different sides that they take. But like, you know, they say like, don't blame them for what they did a long time ago. They've evolved. And then Magneto goes, into us. And I'm like, oh, that goes fucking hard.
Yeah.
And then he has that diatribe about how like, are you a God-fearing man? It's funny because I see God as a teacher. I think what you fear is me, and God works too slowly. And it's like, oh my God, we're cooking with gas here. And then, yeah, we get those one-liners from Storm, and you were like, oh.
Maybe not.
Yeah.
No, there is some really good stuff. And, like, yeah, that's the stuff they get right there. I think the relationship between Charles and Eric is done quite well. I would like to have seen more of it, though. And I think that's the issue with kind of all of these movies, and that's something I think we'll get into a lot more when we eventually get to First Class, because that's obviously a big part of that. Do you know, she said, I met a young man named Eric when I was 17. I was like,
That's fishy.
I think he was older than that.
If anyone's sticking around for this, like, just and like, I know on the surface 3 months of X-Men maybe doesn't sound like everyone's cup of tea, but we're going to be getting into all of this and trying to work out what they were thinking with the a million timeline changes, the a million off-the-hand references to things that don't happen.
I will say this. This is week 1, okay? This is week 1. We have our first actress to play Kitty Pryde. That will change next week, and it will change the week after. Okay?
Yes, it will.
So everyone get ready.
Oh, God, yeah.
I'm pretty sure there's a Jubilee in this movie as well.
They mention a Jubilee. Yeah.
There's you see her. Well, you see a girl in a yellow jacket, and you're like, oh, that's Jubilee. And then we're like, well, we'll see.
Film's like, don't worry about that.
Don't worry about that. She's actually from the 80s.
Yes, silly you. You should have known. You should have known that we would make that decision in 10 years.
Yes.
Do you want to talk about some of the characterizations? Because this is a team that's mainly built up of Professor X, although he's not in it as much as you'd think he would be.
No, he gets Professor X.
He does, yeah.
He has Professor Mystique puts a weird green goo in Cerebro or whatever. And he's like, oh no, Cerebro's got a green goo in it. No, my one weakness, a green goo in Cerebro.
I hope it doesn't give me a coma that lasts for the threat of this movie and then no longer.
I hope I'm not out of action for the big third act fight where I would come in quite useful. Oh no.
I often think about some of the uses of powers, and I'm like, could Jean not just telekinesis Magneto's helmet off?
Probably, yeah. And
then Charles just comatose him or something? Like hit him with the 1-2 Charles special?
Yeah, like probably.
Yeah.
That's cinema sort of shit, isn't it?
It's true. Yeah. We let us not.
No. We're more evolved, Lawrence.
All right, no, but the characterizations. What do you make of Scott and Jean? And yeah,
horrible.
Yeah.
I tell you what, Scott is he's the leader of the X-Men, man. He's the coolest guy ever. And then they're like, hey, Logan. There's literally a fucking scene in this movie where he's like, I'm not going to tell you to stay away from my girl. I'm too cool for that. She's my girl, and I don't need to say that because I'm not fucking what's the word I'm looking for? I'm not
insecure.
Insecure, yes. Yeah. Stay away from my girl, though. Okay?
Yeah,
but please stay away from my girl. Okay.
I'm also really insecure.
Yeah,
and I'm in the corner of every interaction you have with Jean, just hiding in a cupboard staring or something.
I like James Marsden. I think he's good in The Notebook. I think he gets a bad rap in The Notebook. He's just a nice guy who gets fucked over because he's not as hot as Ryan Gosling, really.
That's true. That is actually true. Yeah.
He's a nice guy, okay? He's good in that movie where he talks to Jason Schwartz as the little blue hedgehog, all right? He's great. I think he's doing good stuff, okay? Cyclops, he is not. Okay, like in terms of a broad look, sure, but like he's not the to me my X-Men. You know, he doesn't have the juice for it.
I see. That's the thing. I didn't know much about Cyclops.
I think maybe he could if Bryan Singer, one, wasn't a nonce, and two, that's the elephant in the room we haven't mentioned yet. And two,
there's a few in this franchise.
And two, could actually write the character well, or actually even likes the character, which clearly he just fucking hates him. Which is insane because he's so fucking cool. He's so cool, man. Yeah.
Like, when I didn't know much about him, and then I watched X-Men 97, and he did that fucking, he hurtled out of a plane, fucking did his little blast to break the ground away so he could land safely, stands up, puffs out his chest, to me, my X-Men, and I was like, holy, they really fucked him up in the movie. It's like, where was this guy?
He's cool. X-Men 97 was great because it helped people realize that Scott has always been the cool one, and Logan has always been a weird simp for Jean. You know, weird. I don't like the word simp because it's rooted in misogyny, but like a weird little perv for Wolverine.
Yeah,
for Wolverine for Jean.
And they flip that in this to sell the idea that Wolverine is a cool guy.
Yeah,
but realistically, he just becomes. I mean, look, and it's clear to see what Bryan Singer thinks he's cool, just in his demeanor as a man and the things that he's done, the terrible, monstrous things he's done. Right?
Because he's a pedophile.
Yeah, exactly. So like, I get what they were going for in making him like a predatory kind of cool womanizer kind of quote unquote guy. But ultimately, it just makes Wolverine look like a pervert, and
he just comes across so creepy, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does. Like when he goes, like, "My heart belongs to someone else." At the end, I'm like, "You've not had 3 conversations."
Exactly. You've known her 5 minutes. Calm the fuck down. All right.
Yeah.
And then he's like,
not great.
You couldn't wait to see me with my shirt off again. She's like, get in the fucking MRI, you cunt.
I'm providing you medical care, you fucking idiot. Yeah. I could not.
Stop sexually harassing me when I'm at work, please.
Someone bring in Rogue so we can kill this man.
All right, here's another one. Don't get me started on Rogue. Oh my God, they did my girl so dirty. Okay? They did my girl so dirty. Anna Paquin, I'm sure you're a nice person. All right?
She's a great person, by all accounts.
Okay, good for her. All right? But look, all right? She did my girl dirty. All right? Maybe not her. Maybe just
she didn't.
The movie as a whole, all right? Look, it ain't it. It ain't it, Chief. All right?
See, this is the thing. I think there are... And look, and I don't have a bias to this because I don't know the comics, but I think they do lay some interesting seeds in exploring.
Did you like the origin of her hair?
Don't give me... No, I'll save origin of hair for a bit later.
All right, great.
I do think they do a good job of exploring like a bit of her isolation to like physical touch and how that kind of coincides with how she feels mentally. She feels quite detached and removed, and I think the friendship she has with Wolverine, who also feels quite removed from the world around him, like that's nice. But then in the back of my mind, I was thinking, there's 2 more movies where Rogue is just like, she just becomes the leader of the kids.
She's hardly in the 3rd one.
Yeah, she's not actually, is she?
She's kind of sidetracked in the 3rd one.
Bobby's like, I've got a new GF.
Yeah, I don't need you anymore. I just think like... From in terms of just a movie, like blinders on, nothing else exists, just movies, okay? In terms of just this, there's some interesting stuff there. If I don't know the history of the character and I don't know anything else, then I can see there is some interesting stuff. The whole thing about her not being able to touch anyone and feeling completely isolated, of course, that's going to completely fuck with your mind. And I do think in later movies that does go to some interesting places and is touched upon in some interesting ways. Okay, the problem is I do have the knowledge of the other stuff, and I'm like, but we could have had it all, you know? Like she is a character who can fly. She is so fucking strong. She is one of the most powerful mutants in the whole fucking universe. Okay, and she's just like. But what if I was sad because a boy like was mean to me, but it was really a blue lady, you know?
Yeah, I do. Like you say, it's hard to remove those things. And also it's like, it's not too big of an ask either. Like they're adapting the character, so maybe adapt some of the core tenets of the character that makes people love the character.
Yeah, yeah.
It's not an enormous ask, but like, Yeah,
You
what do
saw
think of
X-Men
Jean?
'97, like the whole fucking
Yeah.
Rose, like when she had a fight. Did she have a fight with Captain America? She threw a shield away.
Nah,
She's
she
like,
fucks his shield off
Yeah.
into the middle distance, though. Yeah.
she's like, go chase that, you little fucking bitch.
Yeah, get out of my way, you government errand boy, bitch.
Yeah, and she like took down like a whole like fucking government base and shit. She's good, man. She's good.
She is good. She's very competent. Also, like a very emotionally rich character. I think that
Very much so.
the relationship that they explored in '97 with like Gambit and also Magneto. I'm like, oh, there's very clear desires that are different, and one of them actually matters more than the other one, and one's more superficial. And I think that's an interesting kind of thing to draw between, like, you know, again, the parallel drawn between superficial, the feeling of human connection and touch, versus what it actually does to your mental state. Like, yeah, it's a shame that it doesn't really ever kind of take off with Rogue in the movies.
And by the way, this is all like my knowledge of like the X-Men and stuff. This all came after I first watched the movie. When I first watched the movie, I didn't have a clue. I was like, I'd probably seen like a few episodes of the X-Men animated series here and there.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, I know Wolverine. He's got clothes. He's pretty cool and stuff. And I was like, yeah, X-Men. But then like over time, I've like gone, oh, they did me dirty, you know?
Yeah, you realize what you could have had the whole time. And you go, oh, hang on, this has been maybe not cool.
I wasn't there like 7 years old going, this isn't my X-Men, I think you'll find.
Well, it's like, what did that news come out this week about, like, who's the guy that fucking makes the Joker movies?
Todd Phillips.
Todd Phillips. Yeah, that sounds about right. And he said something like, my version of the Joker will never become the clown prince of crime. That's not really within Arthur.
Lawrence, you will never get me to hate the Joker too, okay? Okay.
Right.
This movie was made for me.
Was it?
It was. I don't know why, because I don't even like the first one. All right, but everything I see about Joker 2, I'm like, oh, that was made for me and me alone. I'm
like,
gonna love this movie. I don't care.
Do you not see all the stuff around it where it's like,
No.
he'll never be the clown prince of crime?
Good.
Like,
I don't care.
That's
I don't care. I'll take this weird self-contained universe. All right, it's for me and me alone.
This universe is just a sad man walking around New York, and that's it.
I'll take it. I don't care, man. It's interesting.
Oh god, I'm not ready for the fucking press tour that they're gonna drag Lady Gaga on. That's
You
not
hate
gonna be
Lady
fun.
Gaga for some
I don't
reason.
hate Lady Gaga. She's the female Jared Leto.
She's not the female Jared Leto.
No. As a person, she seems a lot cooler, a lot more tolerable. But when both of them start talking about acting, you want to fucking shove pillows on them.
Don't watch her talk about acting then.
Well, yeah, I know, but like it's unavoidable a lot of the time.
It's not. I've managed to avoid it quite a bit.
It appears everywhere. It's omnipresent, is what I'll say.
All right. Okay. Sounds like you're searching up Lady Gaga interview and then getting mad at it.
Well, that is what most Joker fans do.
There you go.
Get cross on the internet about something.
There you go.
I don't like what they do with Jean. I don't think it's very interesting in the way that they kind of force Jean to play two sides of two men she's seemingly interested in neither. Like,
Yeah.
I don't think her and Scott have any chemistry, but I especially don't like when they kind of have this weird metaphorical moment where they say, hey, Jean, why can't you use Cerebro? And she goes, oh, it takes a certain degree of control. And for someone like me, like it kind of implying that she's like, she hasn't got a lid on her impulses.
But she hasn't though. That's Jean's whole thing though. She is canonically she is in a way more powerful than Professor X, but also she is being heavily held back by him, which is stuff we'll get into. Well, we'll kind of get into it later, twice.
Yes, yeah.
But also she is like in her current state, she is just not as powerful as him though.
No, and that's, if you take that like from a literal perspective, that's fine. But like I don't know, for the fact that they have her kind of bouncing between Cyclops and Wolverine the entire movie, it adds this kind of double meaning to it, where it's like, oh, she could, if you know the right circumstances, she could cheat on Scott easily. Yeah, and it's like it kind of justifies Wolverine being a creep. And also, in a way, justifies Cyclops being insecure. And I'm like, all of these characterizations are not correct. So I don't know. I think it has a kind of knock-on effect of making that team dynamic in the X-Men, which is seemingly 4 people as well at this point.
Wolverine, Logan and Scott do like always seem to have beef. They're always bickering with each other and stuff. Like they'll get along and stuff, but they are always having a little bickering and stuff. So that's kind of accurate because he is like, hey, I love your wife, and he's like, okay, well that's
but
weird.
Jean shouldn't really love him back.
No, but that's the mistake these movies make. These movies
Yes.
go, and Jean loves him too, and I'm like, okay, but okay.
She just can't admit it, and I'm like, because you don't want to commit to it because you know it's not right.
Yeah.
It's not the good interpretation of that. But yeah, I like the X Mansion. I like the vibes of it.
Pretty sure it changes. Like the exterior of it changes between shots. You know?
Almost certainly.
Like
but
I'm pretty sure one of the buildings was just completely white, and I was like, "What? That's a different building entirely. What is this?"
You know when homes get an extension on,
Yeah,
and it's always a different kind of material. Yeah.
it does change movie to movie though. Like
Yeah, of course.
something like the main sets are the same, but then you see like the exterior of it and the fucking and everything else. It's always changing and evolving. It's like the TARDIS.
I think it is. I think First Class is where they lock it in.
No, they don't. It changes
Do they
after
not?
that. No, it changes way after that. It changes several times.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, again, something we can watch as we go along.
It's never once locked in, all right?
Okay. I do wish Scott would take a bit more control of the team. Like,
yeah, I do too.
He's not
yeah.
the leader.
I mean, he essentially has that role, really, but like you don't get a sense of it though, really.
No, he seems incompetent. There's a few kind of moments where like he doesn't stand up to Magneto. That's reserved for Wolverine. His plan, he goes like storm, like blast it, and then Magneto is like, yeah, that would blow you all up, you fucking moron.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I thought you lived in a school.
yeah, and like it just all of those little moments, like it just diminishes him and makes me look at him as an incompetent leader.
He is. He's an incompetent little boy. Yeah.
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 Not great.
I liked when he went to the train station, but he had to be in disguise, so he wore a cap and then his big fucking space age visor as well.
So you've got sunglasses. For
You
this.
take one look at that guy and you're like, what the fuck is going on there?
A kid does. A kid stares up at him and is like, eh?
Yeah.
The fuck is wrong with you?
And then the mum looks at him and like, let's get away from this weirdo. Like,
Yeah,
what is
and
this guy
that's
doing?
fair enough.
Yeah, 100%.
I tell you who I do like in this. I really like Mystique. I think she's used really well here.
Okay, why is she naked? All right.
I don't know why.
Why is she naked? And this is a problem that it does get solved, but then there's all kinds of other issues. Like
She becomes a
going on?
nudist, doesn't it? Because mutants and proud. And she's like, I'm proud of every part of this.
Okay, why is she naked? I know why, because it's the early 2000s. We got to have a sexy woman doing sexy woman stuff. Okay.
Yes, of course.
But sure, she's interesting. Nitpicky CinemaSins, she shouldn't be able to do the Wolverine claws. She shouldn't be able to do.
No, she shouldn't be. No. But
yeah, that was wrong. And also, she dies, but then she doesn't.
yeah, I think she gets stabbed, but then I don't know.
She very clearly gets stabbed, and then is like, "I'm dead." And then
Could she morph into a slightly more like heavy set individual so her organs shift a little bit? Maybe stop some internal bleeding that way.
I mean, I guess, but
You don't know these things. We don't know.
I don't know, but I don't like that as an explanation.
No, I don't either. But I just think she's used very well. Again, a character I don't know much about, but looking at the movie in a vacuum, I think I like her little gymnastic fighting style. I like that when she takes on the forms of other people.
Is there Rebecca Romaine this version?
Becca Romaine. Yes, it is. Yes. I was thinking of January Jones, but she's one of the 18 Emma Frosts they have.
The fuck is January Jones?
An actress.
Never heard of that name in my life.
You'll see her. You've definitely seen her in movies because she's
Okay.
been in some.
All right.
Namely, one of the X-Men movies.
One of the Emma Frosts.
Yeah,
I think there's only 2 Emma Frosts, isn't there?
I think there's 3.
Is there 3?
I think there's one. There's one in a background of a shot
Oh, okay, great.
that like isn't an official Emma Frost.
Classic X-Men.
yeah. But no, I like that when she's like fighting while having taken the form of another character, she still keeps up that gymnastic feel. So that when she's fighting Hugh Jackman's Wolverine, you can be like, oh, that's clearly the Mystique Wolverine.
Yeah.
I think that's fun. I like that she's essentially a
I like
political.
it when she's Wolverine and she gives a little kiss. So it's just Hugh Jackman doing a little kiss.
I think they do it well though. Like everyone that has to play a version of Magneto takes on this kind of fun persona. Oh yeah, sorry. What did I say?
Magneto.
Oh, there's too many names, dude. And in all of my notes, it goes from like Professor X to Charles to Eric to Magneto. Like I'm just using these names.
Okay.
But I do kind of like that she is essentially just a political assassin, and she's very competent as well.
She's very good. Yeah, she steals that helicopter.
She does, yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty good. They just have the president's helicopter now, which is pretty fun.
But I think that level of control is really fun.
Yeah.
And then also there's that thing that they draw up where like they kidnap that senator and he goes like, whatever you do to me, you'll only be proving me right. And they're like, we don't care. And I'm like, this is meaty. This is good narrative potential.
We're going to turn you into a puddle.
Yeah, we're going to turn you into...
See when he turns into the puddle? I tell you what, for 2000, that was good, I think.
There's some good visual effects in this. Not many.
Yeah, not many. There's some good visual effects. See when Wolverine was jumping all about the Statue of Liberty?
Yeah, that weren't great.
Yeah, but it was a night,
there's very apparent wire work, a lot of
this
in this.
There's some great classic wire work.
Yeah.
Like when Sabretooth gets thrown about, he's always like, he's just flying around.
I like that the claws break his skin.
Whose skin? Oh, Wolverine's.
Yes.
Yeah. So that first like moment of seeing the claws come out in the bar that's always been a very cool moment. I feel like. Yeah. And that I think that one of the I feel like I'm being very mean, but one of the few good lines in the movie is like when Rogue asks him if it hurts when they come out, and he just says all the time because. Of course he would. The fact that they have to rip through his skin every single time he uses them, that's insane. Really.
And his healing factor can't close up, so it's just an open wound, I guess.
No, it can. Oh, while he's using them.
While he's got the claws out, yeah. There is definitely has that 2000s CGI sheen to a lot of the stuff.
Yeah, it does. Yeah,
everything looks a bit too shiny and Transformers-esque.
Yeah, what do you mean Transformers-esque?
Like, you know, in Transformers, it looks good because it's metal, and metal is one of the easiest things to CG.
Transformers CG is some of the best CG.
It looks incredible, but like this is going for a vibe like that, but isn't quite there. So it just kind of comes across as shiny stuff.
To be fair, it was 7 years before the first Transformers.
They should have got better at it.
Hey, well, they did get better at it.
I know. That's me on the movie. Really, do you want to? Have you got anything else to say?
What else do I have to say? I like Patrick Stewart. I think Patrick Stewart is good. I think again, it's a little bit different. Professor X is not necessarily British, but sure, whatever. He can be British for this one.
They really lean into that in the movies as well. They keep they really make him British.
Yeah,
later ones.
Yeah, they do.
He's chugging pints in first class.
What a lad! What a boy!
Yeah, Charles is a boy.
He's just handsome lad James McAvoy. Yeah.
And he's like, "Oh bloody hell! I was trying to pull that bird over there."
He doesn't say that.
Oh, Raven, do piss off, why don't you?
It's like that. British but written by an American, where it's like, oh crumbs.
Oh bother! This has really pissed me off.
Oh fiddly biscuits. What a hoo-lava this is, you know?
Oh, come off it, Eric.
Oh, I haven't had a worse time than this than back when we lived in North Botherington.
We had scones and tea.
And we had scones with the Earl of Cornwallshire, you know?
God bless the Queen.
God bless the Queen. Anyway, let's eat this pigeon pie.
Oh, God, yeah. There's a bit of that a bit later on. But no, you like it. I think he's good. I think he's well cast. I think Ian McKellen is much better at playing the character that he's playing, if that makes sense.
Yes, I think so too. Yeah. Sabretooth is here. He doesn't do much, but he's like, I'm Sabretooth.
And he roars at people and stuff.
Yeah, he's roaring like a fucking dinosaur or something. Or like a lion. Well, I guess he's a Sabretooth, so that makes sense, but whatever.
And he's also Wolverine's brother, but he doesn't know that, and he's also not at this point.
Yeah, he's not at this point, don't worry. That's a whole other guy, all right?
Well, that's true. We have to wait for these things to come up before we can critique.
We can't critique this movie for that, okay?
No,
we have to be fair. We have to be fair to the movie made by a pedophile. Okay. Is there anything else? I like the scene where Wolverine stabs Rogue. Okay. Although I don't quite understand what's going on with her pajamas and why just part of her back is exposed. I know it's so we can see the claws going through her skin, but in terms of how that t-shirt works, where it just has that specific part of her back exposed, I don't know what's going on, because it's not like that on the other side.
It might be a fashion statement. You don't know that, all right?
Was the early 2000s. It was a strange time for fashion.
It was. And it's good that you bring up fashion, Nathan, because I rushed to you yesterday to send a text.
Of course.
In excitement, asking you what you thought about the segment X-Strip, and you were on board. So I'd like, at the end of every episode that we do on the X-Men, I'd like to talk about the costumes, the looks overall. This can be general vibes, not just specific costumes.
Let me start with this, okay? Let me start with a quote, okay? What, would you prefer, a yellow spandex? Yes! Yes!
Look, it takes them a while when they get there.
It takes them 24 fucking years, okay? Yeah. Look, it's not great. In fact, it's horrible. And do you know whose fault it is?
Go on.
It's the Matrix's fault. Okay.
Yeah, it is the Matrix's fault. You're right.
The Matrix strikes again. Okay. It's the absolute fucking chokehold that the Matrix had on the costume departments of every movie made after the year 1999 is fucking insane. Okay. It's ridiculous.
That's right. Yeah, it is. Look, The Matrix is a great movie. Put a lot of good out into the world. Also a lot of bad in terms of people taking it and claiming it and remorphing it into horrible things. But that's arguably the worst thing it's done.
Yeah.
the assault on comics and costume accuracy in movies.
The costumes are so awful. They're as in like the actual superhero costumes. They're the only one which is, I was going to say remotely similar, but it's even that it's not. I was going to say Magneto's, but it's not though. It's really just the helmet, and even that doesn't look anything like his actual helmet. It's a
played down version, isn't it?
Well, we can't look like the comics because that's ridiculous. No, it's not. But then
I will say that at the end of First Class, they do give him a comic accurate helmet, and he looks fucking ridiculous.
They give him the full comic accurate suit, and it does look ridiculous. Yes, because I think it's the coloring of it, really.
Yeah, and I don't think Michael Fassbender looks comfortable either.
No. I think what they end up with in Days of Future Past works a lot better for him. The sort of like toned down maroon sort of look, really. That's a better look for him. But just this is nothing. This is just biker jumpsuits, you know? The only personality it has is that they have like individual colored lines, you know? Like it's like Wolverine's has a yellow lining, Storm's has white lining.
Yeah, but it's squint to see it.
Yeah, exactly. Bullshit. You've got to pull out your fucking magnifying glass to notice this, you know?
I only know that. I didn't remember that whilst watching the movie. I only know that because I've looked at this footage for work and I can pause on certain frames and go, huh.
Yeah,
cool.
If you've seen all of these movies, you might be able to, I won't say what it is and what happens, but if you've seen all these movies, you'll probably be able to work out where this comes from and what I mean by this. But there was a moment in one movie where I got so fucking excited and I was like, fucking yes, finally, this is everything I have ever wanted, only for the next movie to be like, nope, fuck you, see you later. So that's going to be fun to get into.
I think I know the part you mean. I think I know.
We'll see.
Although it's a bit weird that she's naked, the makeup on Mystique is incredible.
I think so too. I think it's probably I was going to say it's the best it's ever looked, but I don't know, it might get better. But it
gets way worse.
It gets so much worse, and trust me, we'll get into that. But I think for the moment, it's pretty fucking incredible.
Yeah. Some of the early Jennifer Lawrence makeup looks were incredible, and then oh my god, they became terrible. Yeah.
Oh my, that last one is just fucking horrendous, but
genuinely terrible. Yeah.
We'll get into that.
Wolverine's hair, I think, looks fucking absurd.
Horrible.
Genuinely awful.
They try to just do the mask in his hair, and you're like, what are you fucking doing, really?
Yeah, and look, I understand why they would try that, but the thing that bothers me about it is that like it's so gelled. because it has to maintain that fucking absurd, unnatural shape. The movie then, by proxy, asks me to believe if this is a man that gels his hair every morning, and those two vibes don't mix.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, though, it's good to see Hugh Jackman just be like a normal-looking guy and not the most shredded man ever, you know?
They hadn't got him. With it. I think he literally said, "I'm not doing that horrendous diet. I'll be big."
Couldn't. He came on very late though, didn't he?
Yeah,
because it was
he did,
it was the guy from Mission Impossible first. He was like, "I'm taking off this mask."
Who was that guy?
The guy from Mission Impossible, Mission Impossible 2. Doug Gray Scott. Is it Doug Gray Scott? Gray Scott?
Oh, Do Gray something. Yes. You are right, but I can't remember. Is it Scott?
It's Doug Gray. I'm pretty sure it's Doug Gray Scott.
Let's have a look.
If I'm right, you owe me a tenner.
No, that's not right. Oh, fuck, it is Do Gray Scott.
See? Don't test me. Don't fucking test me. Yeah,
it was Russell Crowe at one point as well.
It was Russell Crowe at one point, yeah. But I think he's the guy who wears an all denim suit in Mission Impossible 2. What a sign of the times. A denim suit.
That's a good Wolverine look, I think.
Yeah, that'd be good. Yeah.
And the last look, which I just thought was borderline insulting, was when Rogue tries to run away in the night, they give her a little green hood, a little green cloak.
She has a green cloak at the beginning as well.
Oh yes, she does as well. Yeah, that's right. I just think it's like, come on, man.
It is like it's the fucking like, hey, here's your fucking Rogue. You know?
Yeah, it's like take your scraps. Yeah. I don't know. Overall, look, I think it's refreshingly quaint, and
I think it's bad.
Okay, fair enough. I'm excited
also,
for next week.
The score sucked. There was no score.
It was a little bit underused, but I do like the main theme that they have.
I like the main theme, but there was nothing. There was no point in the movie where I noticed the music.
There are large parts at the end of the Statue of Liberty stuff where all you can really hear is the wind.
Yeah.
And you're like, God, let me try and be excited for this.
Yeah. Yeah. I'll tell you what, one thing I did like is the scene where Magneto turns all the guns around. That's pretty cool.
That's a great scene. That's a very, very good scene.
Yeah.
I like that he just kind of holds a bunch of cops ransom.
Yeah.
And it's like, if you reveal yourself, they'll want to fucking lock you up and all, so have fun.
Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty cool. I like that. That's good stuff.
That is good stuff. Is that X-Men? Are we done on X-Men?
That is X-Men. Yeah.
We're certainly not done on X-Men, but are we done on X-Men 2000?
We're done on X-Men 2000, directed by a pedophile. Yeah.
Yep, that's fair.
Yeah.
All right, lovely. Well, what we do at this point in the show is we recommend some stuff to each other and to our lovely loyal listeners, and it's also the segment where Nathan always forgets we do the segment. Would you like me to go first? What you think?
To be fair, it hasn't been a whole week since our last one, so
that's true. Okay. Do you want me to go?
Yes. Yeah. Go.
I'm recommending Aliens, a movie I had to watch this week. I'd never seen any of the Alien movies. I don't know why. It was a blind spot for me. And I watched Aliens and Alien in this past week. And Alien I liked. It was a bit too slow for me. I really enjoyed the concepts and the ideas and stuff. So when I put on Aliens by Big Jim Cameron, he had gone and made it an action marine shooter. And it just made the whole thing infinitely cooler, in my opinion. And I was like, oh, this is much better, I think.
Yeah.
So yeah, good watch. Had a good time. Sick of looking at footage for it because I'm working on a video for it. But yeah, other than that, great movie. Great time at the living room for me.
Tell you what, I'll recommend, I've probably already done this, but I'll recommend X-Men 97.
Okay, you definitely have already done this, but I'll let it slide.
But I think if you're going to spend fucking, 2 hours or something watching X-Men, just watch a few episodes of that instead, because you'll just have a much better time, really.
It's a fun comparison.
It's a fun comparison, and even the original X-Men animated series as well. I just think it's such a great endeavor, and I do think it is a great a great summation of how fucking batshit insane that whole world is, and it does a really good job of distilling it in fun and entertaining ways for kids and adults alike.
It's modernized in a nice way as well. Like they touch on a lot of political commentary that is relevant to today and not 2000, which is good. Obviously, there's some very clear. Hey, do you remember January 6th? Like there's a lot of that stuff, which is quite fun to see.
There's some parallels being drawn. Yeah, it's good. It's good, and you have a better time than this. So.
Yeah, you might do. Yeah, it's true.
You will. You will.
Yeah, you will. You will. All right, fine. I'm trying to remain optimistic, Nathan. We have 13 of these left.
I'm looking forward to next week. By all accounts,
I am too. Yeah.
Next week is a good one. Okay.
Yes.
It's X2 X-Men United. The fucking football team is here, boys. We're ready to go.
Let's go.
Up the boys.
Thank you very, very much for listening. If you've enjoyed the show, then please feel free to leave us a little 5-star review. That'd be very, very cool. We're probably going to need them in the next 13 weeks, so that'd be nice.
Yeah.
You can also follow us on Twitter at Another Happy Pod, where you can suggest.
You can follow us on X, Lawrence.
Follow us on X. Sorry,
it's the one time I'll say it, Elon. All right.
He's won. Yeah. You can suggest a topic for us to check out, although good luck, you can tell we're pretty booked up.
Yeah.
Be sure to join us next week, because as Nathan said, we're going to be continuing X-Mania with this.
You know all those dangerous mutants you hear about on the news? I'm the worst one.
And if you feel so inclined, we do have a Ko-Fi link in the show notes if you want to help us out with the running of both of these shows. Obviously, no pressure. All the episodes are still available for free forever. And speaking of shows, Nathan, we have another podcast as well, don't we?
We certainly do, Lawrence. It's called Still Got Legs. It's our Doctor Who rewatch podcast, where every single week we watch and discuss an episode of Doctor Who and have a bloody fun time doing it. Last week, this week, I don't know. But our most recent episode, we talked all about killing Hitler. So It's a good fun time. We got into the would you kill Hitler as a baby ethical dilemma. So join us for that. It's a lot of fun. Next week, we're talking spooky, fun doll time.
Nathan talked about what blunt instrument he would use to kill baby Hitler.
Yes. Did I?
No.
Okay. I was going to say, I don't remember that.
Bit of clickbait, Nathan, to get them over.
Okay. Sorry. Yes, I did.
Those are the rules. If you go, fuck, I'm not listening to 13 weeks of X-Men. I'm not listening to this podcast. The rule is you have to go and listen to our other one instead. Right?
Sure. These are the rules that we can and will enforce somehow.
And if you already listened to both, you now have to listen to Still Got Legs twice. That's just how it goes.
What is this? Stop this.
It's a little fun thing. Anyway, thank you for listening. We will see you next Friday at 10 a.m. Stay cool, stay sexy, stay whatever.
Stay excited.
Very nice.
Oh, I just thought of something else. Have you stopped recording? Oh, for fuck's sake! All right, well, you can just keep mine in. But the intro sequence wasn't nearly as long as I remember. Lawrence forgot to say that too. He agrees. Okay, you can't hear him because he stopped recording, but Lawrence also agrees. So there we go. There's another little thing. Anyway, see ya.